Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Uncle Art's viewing. And thank you for coming here. Um, it means a lot. And I'm here to just kind of share a few things about today's viewing, and do want to let you know that today's viewing is being live streamed right now, and it'll be live streamed until 6 p.m. And the link is available through Caring Bridge, so if you'd like to share that link, please feel free to share it to those who were not able to come this afternoon. And you can also come to me later if you need help with that. I do want to let you know that there is a program available at the table in the back. And if you look inside, there is information about Friday's funeral mass and also the reception. I also want to let you know if you have a moment later on to please come to me and let me know if you'll be attending Friday's reception. We'd like to know who can make it and who cannot. So if you could please meet me later on. With that, I do want to also let you know that we are opening the mic to those who would like to share thoughts and memories of my Uncle Art. And so please, whenever you're ready, please come up and share what you have, on your hearts and in your minds about Uncle Art.
Good afternoon. First, I want to say my name is Michelle, and I worked with Art for the last 8 years, August, and we're really close. It's hard. It's hard to be here, and because I haven't seen him since Good Friday, and all this time I kept thinking, oh, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. I'm saying to myself, hey, get back to work. You need to be here. You need to help me out because there's a lot of stuff to do. And it's really hard being here today and doing this. Unfortunately, Art's supervisor, Miles Van Bockel, couldn't be here today. He's dealing with a family crisis himself. He did take the time to write some information out and a little story of Art, and I agreed to read it for him. So this is from Miles. So good afternoon. I'm saddened not to be here in person today to express my condolences and my fond memories for such a great man, Arturo Fontanilla. Sorry. I only got to know Art as his supervisor at first, but that quickly turned into just being a friend. Unfortunately, my time with Art was short, just less than 1 year. I know there's no need to tell you all here that Art was a man of great advice and boundless love for his family. The first time I met Art, he told me, like your job, love your family. As with many individuals that dispense advice, sometimes we do not put much thought into it until some idle Tuesday comes around and a family member is in need. I'm grateful for Art's advice as I'm with my family today, helping and supporting them. Thank you, Art, for your advice. Since the day I met Art, just over a year ago, I can say I never saw him without a smile on his face. That is usually not a normal occurrence when a supervisor comes into the office. Art not only would smile, shake your hand, but then make you feel like he was welcoming you into his house, not an office. Art was proud of his work and would love to show each detail of his job on each of my visits. The only thing that boggled me was his love of extremely spicy hot food, which would make the average human cry from the smell of spice a few feet away. The only thing that never boggled me about Art was his extreme love for his family and how proud he was. Art once told me after his service in Vietnam, he had several options he was looking into for a career. There was the Muni, the phone company, or PG&E. I'm so thankful it turned out to be 41 years with PG&E, and I'm so blessed to have known him even though it was only 1 year of the 41. Art's family goes beyond just his immediate family, who will always cherish and love him for eternity. It goes without saying that he will be truly loved, missed, and remembered by all of his PG&E family forever as well. In closing, I just want to express my deepest condolences. Excuse me. Thoughts and prayers to everyone Arturo Fontanilla has touched in his blessed life. With a deep heart, my thoughts and prayers to the Fontanilla family, relatives, and everyone that he touched. Miles Van Bockel. So I know he would have liked to be here today, but, couldn't be. So I put together what I called the story of Art. I sent it to the family. It was really long. So this is a condensed version with a few things changed up. My name is Michelle again, and I worked with Art, probably the closest out of anybody here. We sat in the same little office for 8x8 office for 8 years together, and it was quite a scene. So since last Friday, when I received the text about the passing of my coworker and friend Art, I've had the time to reflect on the past 8 years with him. I've received several emails and texts from coworkers that knew Art during his 41 years at PG&E. As I read them, I could only hope that Art knew how these friends and coworkers felt about him. 8 years ago, when I got to the San Francisco office, was the start of a friendship that developed over time to be one of the best friendships I've had with a coworker. He was a genuine, nice, good man who cared immensely about his beautiful family and his coworkers. He at times treated me like his fourth daughter, but did we always get along? Absolutely not. We did learn, however, to break the 2 alpha dogs in 1 pack code. Art had a wonderful sense of humor, usually showed it after something went wrong, like driving into the walls and columns and fences and whatever he shouldn't have driven into. We laughed so hard, and then he would say, "Wait till they find out what you did," trying to blame it on me, because he said no one would believe me because he was Art, master forklift driver. Our whole area looks like Swiss cheese where he left his marks. So every day I've been going by these areas, and every time I look at them, I just start laughing, because now I know there's not going to be any more holes in the wall. So on each hole I wrote, Art was here. Art had opinions about everything and wanted everyone to know them. I actually used to doze off when he would start talking and getting from point A to point B. He would start up conversations about anyone that would listen. Then I didn't see those people for a while after that. He would stop employees that had the same amount of years of service or nearly that, and always ask them repeatedly, "When are you going to retire?" Everybody that was in the Art, "When are you going to retire? When are you going to retire?" But he would never commit to his own retirement, as he loved his jobs, people he spoke to, and his camaraderie with his coworkers, and used to tell me this place was his life in addition to his family. He would say, "Where else could I get paid to go on vacation?" So I guess vacation was his thing. There wasn't anything he wouldn't do for his wife Annie and his 3 beautiful daughters. Correct me if I get the names wrong. Ariane, Elise, and Jana. Which he was so proud of the women they had become, careers they achieved, and schooling they had completed. All 4 women were his life, and he would laugh and state that he was always in trouble and outnumbered at home. Then I would give him both barrels at work, and then he'd call me number 5. A kind and generous man he was. I hadn't seen him prior to his death for about 4.5 months, and was entirely noticeable since the 2 alpha dogs weren't arguing about work. I wish I could have said my goodbyes to him and let him know how much we all thought of him, but somehow I think he knew. Anyway, if you're listening, Art, I miss you, buddy. Take care not to upset the big man up there. He probably doesn't have time to listen to all your stories right now. See you someday again. And I lost my father at the same age as Art. And there was a nun that was in the hospital. Her name was Sister Paula at Seton Hospital. And she was very caring and everything. And she could tell how distraught I was. And she handed me this little piece of paper. I copied it onto this piece of paper. But it's a little verse, and I'd like to read it because after I kept it in my pocket for years after my father passed. And I remember this helping me. So I'm going to say, all is well. Death is nothing at all. I've only slipped away into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we still are. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Pray, smile, think of me. Let my name be ever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of a shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I'm waiting for you, for an interval, somewhere very near, just round the corner. All is well.
Good, oops. Good afternoon. First of all, my family and I would like to express our deepest sympathy to you guys. My name is Lourdes Abulencio Bascara. I had known Art for 60 years. We met at Torres High School in Gagalangin, Tondo, Manila, Philippines, where we graduated in 1965. We lost contact immediately after graduation because Art migrated here in the United States to join his family. However, after 20 long years or more, we got reconnected again in the most unexpected and usual way. Art told us that he was grocery shopping at Island Pacific in South San Francisco, and the newspaper that they used to wrap the fish he bought was from the Philippines. And he, his eyes caught this article saying, looking for 1965 Torres High School graduate. Well, it meant to be, have to meant to be, so it happened. And the rest is history. In a very short period of time, we, due to modern technology, we found more than 10 of our batchmates living here in the Bay Area. We have been a very close-knit ever since and able to squeeze in precious bonding time whenever possible, regardless of our hectic schedule at work, taking care of the family. We attended reunions in Las Vegas, and I'm sure he loves that. Reunion in the Philippines, a lot of trips to casinos, which he always enjoy, and a lot of get-together celebrating Christmas, parties, and birthdays of our batchmates. We are so grateful to Annie for her support and letting us spend some time with Art. What else? The Art attended most of our gatherings. He was a very thoughtful, compassionate, and caring friend. During any of our events, he was more than happy to drive any of our batchmates who needed a ride. Also, Art is the only male gentleman in our group, which we always tease him that he's the only thorn among the roses, which is also the same as you guys at your household. This didn't even bother him, and he always attend our, if he can, our gatherings. Most of the time, the reason that he cannot attend, he will be calling me and apologizing because one of her beautiful daughters, Ariane, Elise, or Jenna, needs a ride or to be picked up. He, he is a very wonderful and loving wife to husband to Annie, and father to you girls. Art, I will miss him a lot and will forever treasure all the fun memories we had. Rest in peace, my friend, until we meet again. I'm wearing a hat for his memory. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Artatus. I first met Art in person 5 years ago when I joined the Harrison warehouse. He worked in Folsom across the street, and I work in Harrison. It's a warehouse. I see him every morning. I see him driving forklifts, throwing trash. He was easy to get along to. He talked. Nice man, like everything else. But there was something more about Art, and that is, it wasn't just 5 years ago. I knew him more than 14 years ago. When I first met him, I met him on the phone. I was a customer service in a warehouse. And his word was, I need materials. I need it expedite. It's a hot. So every time he calls, I know it's him because he seems to request for the same thing. Well, time went by. I left. I went to shipping department. Haven't heard from him. And eventually I did. He called me. The same thing. I need materials. I need it expedited. But now that I'm in the shipping department, I make the arrangement to get it to him. Yes, he gets his material. I left sometime later, went to picking, and I see meters. I see hot material for Art Fontanilla. I know this person because I recognize it. I know this is for Art. Well, when there was an opening in Harrison, I went, and that's when I actually met him for the first time in life. Caring man. Same thing. Every now and then, call for hots. Yes. I kind of wondered, but there was something more than that. It was just nice, friendly talk, nice man. He would tell me, I'm going to get you your meters. And he would actually drive the forklift in front of my warehouse and drop it off. Thank you. This went on, and he calls hot. Then I realized something. He wasn't calling just because he needed his material. He needed it expedited. He was calling because he knew we needed it. That's why he was doing that. So really, had I known better, he was calling because in his own ways, without a word, he showed that he was a caring person. He cared for everybody. So, really, Art, I thank you for caring, and I thank you for being caring for everyone else. I'm going to miss you.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rene De La Serna. I would like to say some few words about Art Fontanilla. I met him in the early 70s at City College of San Francisco, our beloved alma mater, which will mark 50 years of friendship next month. And as you probably remembered him, I would like to share some good memories of our dear Art. Art was a good person and enjoyed school and make friends very easily. He was a warm guy with good personality. During our schooling days at City College of San Francisco, I remember I was struggling on my advanced algebra, which I need help. And then he suggested to go to the science building where there's a help center. To my surprise, I saw one of our late friend, Elmar, helping the students at the help center. And I told him, oh no, I'm not going to ask for help. Then he asked me, why not, Bigan? Uh, you know, the formula that I would like to ask was the point, slope, of form. And the formula was y minus x equals b minus b. So I told Art, I don't feel comfortable approaching Elmar because that represent you extremely bobo vegan. And he started to laugh, you know. You know how Art laughs, ha 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 ha. And that's how he is. And he laughs with a good company, and he's really funny with a big smile. And Art is a good company to be with. So we just went ahead and hang out to the cafeteria. Another occasion while we were at our late friend house, Larry DeRosa's, the boys thought about going out of town. So the weekend following that, we drove three separate cars to Reno, Nevada. Two of our late friends, Eric Peralta and Rolly Bitug, was joined us during that drive. If some of you remember, Art owned a brand new yellow car, a Trans Am, a muscle car, with a license plate upload. We asked Art why upload. He said he likes to be on top. So the boys started to laugh. Yeah. And as you know, we love each other. It's just the way the boys are. Well, that really suited Art's personality. So we ended up in Reno without a hotel reservation. No credit card, a typical student's life during those days. We ended up in a motel along Virginia Street, one room, two beds. We all fit in there. That was lovely, isn't it? Very wonderful experience, as you remember probably. We were singing the Beatles, drinking, making jokes with full of laughter inside the room. It did not take long for the boys to act a little crazier. We all ended up posing pictures with only our underwear. And I thought that was hilarious. Those days were the typical uh, boys that were, because we were so young, and it's just the way our group was during that time. And maybe I'm not so sure if he kept some pictures on those memories, because art loved photographies. Another memory was when one of our friends passed away, named Winnie Beater. I approached the boys if we can do something to help the family. Jonah, the wife, was not in a good financial situation at the time. I remember asking Art about helping out, and he was said, "Ayos bigan," meaning no problem, without any hesitation, without any questioning. And all the boys' money went out to help the burial reception at Dominic's Oyster Point. You may have remembered that, Annie. Art is gone now from our side, but never from our hearts. Art is looking above us, uh, smiling and happy because he's surrounded with love, not only with good friends, but also his relatives, especially his three loving daughters, Elise, J- Jenna, and Ariane, and most of all, his only soulmate and love of his life, Annie. Art, you will be missed. We love you, Bigan. Thank you.
When I came here in the States, that was 1978. Kuyart and Ate Ani, they were just dating. And one thing I noticed about Kuyart, that was probably the hardest and toughest time of his life because he already won the heart of Atiani, but he must win also the hearts of Chelading and Uncle Eddie. So he would do anything and everything to be closer to my auntie, who was very, very strict, to the point because being that the only daughter, the only child, she wanted to make sure that she would end up with the right guy. So she called Kuya Art's home phone number and asked for Mrs. Art. She wanted to speak to Mrs. Art Fontanilla. And the mother, who is the mother-in-law of Ate Ani, said, Art Fontanilla is single. He is not married. So that was a relief for Chelading to find out that he is really single because, for the age gap, 6 years apart, she wanted to make sure that, he's not married. So, and not only that, courting Ate Ani and also the mother and the father, and here we came, he ended up marrying the family. And so he ended up teaching me with the driving and taking us also to go groceries because we did not have a car. One thing I noticed about him is he has a servant attitude. He would do above and beyond what you would expect from a cousin-in-law. Very giving, and I remember also before they got married, he would eat our leftovers, my leftovers and my sister's leftovers. But then when we got married, I said, Kuya Art, how come you don't eat anymore our leftovers? And he said that because you're already, married. And he said he doesn't trust our leftovers anymore. So, anyways, for his 50th birthday, we had a guessing game. They asked us to guess what that afloat means. Actually, I didn't know what it meant and what it meant. But I said it's probably Art Fontanilla, lover of all time, and they just love that. But that's not what it means. It means Art Fontanilla lived on another time. Yeah, something like that. But he said, I like that better. Art Fontanilla, lover of all time. But yeah, he is Ate Ani's lover of all time up to his death. I know he was a very loving and obedient husband too. He was an obedient husband and a very caring and loving husband to his daughters. It's true that every time that there is a commitment that he needed to fetch any of his kids, he would give up anything and everything that he wanted to do just for the sake of the family. And even, you know what, eating crabs. Oh my goodness, he is spoiled Ate Ani. He would be next to me because I would be cracking crabs for my husband because my husband is allergic to the shells, but not allergic to eating the crab meat. I don't know why, but. But Kuya Art would be next to me. He would be cracking crabs, and he would be cracking it for Ate Ani. And I said, "Whoa, look at that! She gets to eat the meat already cleaned." So I said, "Oh my goodness!" And here I am cracking my for my husband. But I enjoy doing it for my husband also. It's it's a service. So one thing I noticed about Kuya Art, he has a servant attitude, very giving and very loving person, especially to his family. So it's a blessing. Ate Ani, I am very happy for you to have been blessed with that 41 years. And there's something I want to share, okay, really quick. Um, don't worry, I will not take so much time. On 2 Corinthians 5:1, and then I will jump. This is only a few verses. It says here, for we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands. Then, jump to 6. Therefore, therefore, we are always confident and know that as long as we are at home in the body, we are away from the Lord. For we live by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and would prefer to be away from the body and at home with the Lord. So we make our goal to please Him, whether we are at home in the body or away from it. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each of us may receive what is due us for the things done while in the body, whether good or bad. Thankfully, Kuya Art, he planted good seeds, and because of what he has been doing, what he has done to a lot of people, now he is hearing, and we all are hearing the legacy that he's leaving behind. And I'm confident, without a shadow of doubt, 100%, he accepted the Lord in his life. And I thank God for that. He is going to be assisted and by the angels of God to face God the Father. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kuya Art Natiani's niece Bella, and I will be speaking on behalf of my sisters Brianna and Sabrina and I. Growing up, my sisters and I didn't have a lot of real male role models in our lives. We didn't have grandfathers who were able to be present in our lives. And in case you didn't already hear from everybody else, our family's pretty female dominant, so we don't have much. We really only had two male figures in our lives. We have our dad, and we had Kuya Art. Kuya Art was always present in our lives. He wasn't one of those uncles that only showed up occasionally at family gatherings. He watched us play sports. We hung out at his house after school. He never missed a birthday, holiday, recital, or graduation, even if that meant he had to fly 3,000 miles and sit for hours in the hot sun. Kuya Art was the quintessential definition of someone who led by their actions. He was always there, and he had the patience of a saint. He and I enjoyed playing table games at the casino. He taught me how to play 3-card poker, 4-card poker, and pai gow. He taught me how to play side bets so I could win even if my hand lost. And I can honestly say I would never have learned to play any of those games if he didn't encourage me to sit next to him and he took the time to tell me what to do and, more importantly, why I should do it. I will miss having fun and learning from him, but what I will miss most are the little things that often go unnoticed. I will miss the smile he would greet us every week after church, the way we'd be chaotically taking photos, and he's giving Atiani a hug just because. His playfulness and constantly joking with my dad, the way he would play with little kids at Jenna's birthday party and create a ride out of lawn chairs for them. Him insisting to drive me home when I said my dad would come pick me up from his house. The excitement he had when I set up the Bluetooth in his new van. How he would never let us waste food when we would go out to eat. How he would slowly move forward when he would take pictures and just move just a little before he'd take the picture. And screaming at the TV while watching the Giants, Niners, or Warriors play, just to name a few. Even though we will miss him immensely, I am also filled with gratitude to have had such a constant presence in our lives. Because he's just not one of the good guys, he's one of the best men I've ever known. So all that's left to say is thank you. Kuya Art, we love you and we thank you so much for everything you've done and exemplified for us. You are truly one of a kind, and I will consider myself lucky if I find someone who loves me and cares for me half as much as you loved and cared for Atiani. And don't worry, we'll hold it down. We'll hold it down here while you live in peace and watch over us up there. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everybody. Annie and the three ladies. I am Medi Magno. He's a classmate of Art. 1965 when we graduated from Torres High School. Not only batchmate, but in our batchmate here in Bay Area, we are 12, and we were the same section. So Art and I are close. After graduation, we didn't see each other anymore. And then when I arrived here in America, 2002, we met 2008 with the help of Lourdes, our team leader here in Bay Area. So we met one night in Lucky Chance. We are 4 or 5. We have a lot of stories. After 45 years, we've seen each other, so Art is very much loved with our group because he is the only guy. He said that he's the only thorn among the roses. So I met Annie. Annie and Art are always present in our get-together, and we called it Kita Kids. Lou is the one organizing our group every time that we have get-together. Art and Annie is always bringing favorite dish in every time we have get-together. Parties won't be fun without Art and Annie. And then 2018, Art was able to bring one member. He is a guy and with the name of Rolly. Rolly now is in Pittsburgh, so he cannot attend in this situation. Aside from that, Art is a sweet guy, very soft-spoken, and a gentleman, especially for all of us because we are all ladies. We met his 3 ladies, three daughters, 3 lovely daughters, during the graduation party of her youngest. Art was very proud of you guys. He's always telling us that he's very proud of you. We always talk with Art if he gonna retire, because all of us are retired already. He said that after this, that my youngest is already graduated, I can now retire. But what will I do? So he said he is still working. He gonna get bored at home. Art will be missed by the group. We spend the whole day of talking, laughing. Now it's gone. Especially myself. I will be miss him because both of us are born July. We always celebrated July. Annie knows that. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name's Jamie Kesey, and I was a friend and coworker of Art's. We met in the early 90s we were both working at the Daly City warehouse at the time, and Art was a really easy person to talk to. He was very gregarious, and we soon got to know each other. We found out that we started in the same year, 1979, and I used to like to tease him because I had 1 month seniority on him, so I didn't let him forget that. And then he told me previously to working at Daly City, he had worked at 77 Bill Street, and one of his tasks was to take packages to the offices. And that's where he met a lot of the bigwig bosses. And he would tell me, Jamie, they're just like us. I don't hesitate to tell them what I think. So I know Art liked to stir the pot sometimes, and I like that about him. So eventually we went our own ways. We found different jobs. I ended up at the Colma yard, and Art ended up at the Folsom Street yard, where he worked with his work wife, Michelle, and as she put it, they got along like cats and dogs. And so actually, Art and I both were still in the materials department, so we would talk pretty often. If he was a good ally to have. He was always willing to help with any needs. We would help each other out, and occasionally we would go out to lunch. Michelle, me, and Perry, and Art. And I know he was a good eater for sure. And he told me one of his favorite dishes to make was his salmon dish around the holidays. And he said it was always a big hit. I do remember one conversation though I had with him, and it stuck with me. He said, I would tell my daughters that I'm doing my job working to pay for your college, so you need to do your job and getting your degree. And I know Art was really proud of his daughters. And I always thought that he was a very lucky man because he had a loving family. So rest in peace, Fonzie.
Hello, I'm Vince Chen. I work with Art in San Francisco. I was a mechanic there, technician, when I first started. So I dealt a lot with Art and Michelle. and I was in the middle of their cat and dog thing. Um, Art is one of the reasons why I really loved working in San Francisco, because he would always say hi, and when I first started, he looked out for me. He always checked up on me, and I always thought like he was my uncle. Um, I would walk into the office and look for parts, and Art was there, and he would offer cookies in the office, and Michelle would walk in and ask me what I was doing eating her cookies. So that was the way Art kind of messed with me, you know. But I I always remember him saying good morning to me, and when I was looking for stuff, he would always help me out, and he would even go so far as get the apple cider vinegar for cuts. You know, that was his big thing, and get me band-aids when I got like stuff. When I left San Francisco to go to San Jose, I made it a point to say goodbye to Art and Michelle because they helped me out a lot. I came back to San Francisco as a supervisor, and it was easy because Art was there and Michelle as well, and I'm really gonna miss him. I want you guys to know that he really made an impact on my life, working, and made it easier for me, and transitioning to as a new person there. He he made it a point to make it easy, and I don't know. That's all I gotta say. Thanks, Art. I'm gonna miss you, buddy.
Hello, all. My name is Sean, and I am the and Sean is my mother, and so he's my Tito Art, and I would say after hearing the stories from coworkers and nieces and relatives, I could I'm grateful that I had a unique perspective. I would say, being that I was one of his nephews, and if you're aware of me and my family in NorCal, I'm pretty much one of the only male cousins here. And so it just dawned on me that Tito Art was a very patient person because me being around my cousins, going on vacations with them and toting all their luggage, always pulling their luggage, so much luggage, maybe 2.5 luggage per person, made me realize that naturally he was a patient person. I mean, I never saw him, you know, blow up or anything to his daughters or anyone for that matter. And so it was obvious that he was a very caring father and uncle. And some of the memories I have when we were younger, uh, in my teen years and younger, uh, he was a very generous person. And I remember him paying me to pull weeds with him in the backyard, and even vacuuming the house. And sometimes there'd be like barely any dirt on the carpet, but I just perceived it as him being generous and him providing a teachable lesson, and just working for something, working for money, and not just giving it out. Even though I'm sure he was capable of doing that, and apologize for jumping around, but going back to the vacations that we often went to, one of his things I noticed while driving, and I guess maybe it's because he was a forklift driver, was backing up, just always honking. And I'm looking around, and there's like nobody around us. And I remember I was helping him driving, and it was a big Tahoe or Chevy Suburban. And I guess in a way I was testing his patience. And I was just honking. And then he stuck out his hand. He said, "That's enough." And I remember that's pretty much the first time and only time he ever told me like to stop doing something. Man. So he'll be sorely missed, and he was dearly loved, and that's all I have.
Hello. My name is Mia, for those of you who don't know me. I'm one of Uncle Art's nieces of the female-dominated family. If anyone was a second father, it was Uncle Art. Tita Annie, you and Uncle Art took me in with such open arms and treated me like your own when I was in college, and even when Rose was in college. I don't know how it started, but to this day, we have this running joke that they don't have daughters, but they have sons, and I'm their fourth son. I think it's when we would just go upstairs and we're grunting after a long day. We probably just sounded like guys. Even Uncle Art's last message to me started with, "To my son." There is no question whether he was a great man. All of you guys already confirmed how thoughtful he is, hardworking, protective of his girls, definitely spoiled his girls, and living with you guys for those few years confirmed that. Family functions won't be the same. Life won't be the same. He is sorely missed, but I'm just grateful that he's no longer suffering and is with God, and that one day we will be reunited with him. Thank you.
And just wanted to also announce that there are refreshments and the snacks in the parking lot. There is a silver minivan with a flag. Which one is it? 49er flag. So please help yourselves to the snacks available there.